I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Who You With, Kurt. I'm in. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 Who You With, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm Who You With, Kurt, dog. Want to welcome everybody on Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, D Live. You can live chat with us in the chat room. We are back on Facebook tonight. They worked out the bells, whatever was going on last night with the bugs and everything. We are live back on Facebook, so you can definitely chat with us in the chat room. So tonight we're gonna hit on just a couple of stories tonight. The question I have for everyone: should a prisoner be allowed to decide what type of meal he should eat? Interesting. Because basically, um, Jake Chansley, the guy with the paint on his face, the horn, and everything, he been fasting ever since he turned himself in Saturday morning in Arizona because he only want to eat organic. Yeah. Let me know your opinion on that. I have my opinion about it, but I want to know what y'all think about it. Then, of course, can't let the day go without talking about Trump. Um, his statement that he gave today. Welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. That might be good for him. He said he should have to eat the chicken in the can. Yeah, every time I think about that, I think about the smell. You told me how that smell, but he wanted organic. That's all he would eat, and the judge granted permission. I'm like, wow, you commit an act of terrorist against our country, and you get to choose to eat organic food instead of what prison have for you. I just want to. I'm gonna hold off on my comments. Welcome to the show, T Cal. Missed you last night. Oh, you have a bad connection. Can you hear me good, or was it the intro song? Because it sounded like it was kind of breaking up when it was coming on. So I'm not quite sure. But can you hear me good? That's what I need to know, and see me good. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Um, Trump gave a speech today since he was in Texas, um, which is interesting. Um, what he said. Um, Trump said, say that his impeachment is making a big mistake and a division between the people. I don't think it's the impeachment. I personally think it's the hate that you've been talking about for the last 4.5, 5 years since you first started running. That's my opinion of it. When you talk hate and you brainwash people, um, okay, thank you. When you talk hate and brainwash people, make them seem like everybody is against you, that's going to divide people up. Um, okay, cool. I appreciate it. I hope my lighting is good because I know I cannot see too far in front of me because they pretty bright. Um, he talked about the horrible riots that happened this past summer. They was very, very, very bad. Um, the riots in Seattle and Portland, they were just so, so very horrible. Um, I'm like, okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, during the riots, he made the comment, if they loot, we shoot. Um, Lock them up, sent National Guards out there, and he been talking about it for a while, January 6th. Big things gonna happen, and it did. You exposed America, made America look weak because of what you've done. Um, Radio said this was coming for a long time. Anyone who is surprised this happened wasn't paying attention. Exactly. The writing was on the wall. It been on the wall for years. Um, Even in before the election, Trump said, "I'm probably gonna lose this election." That's what he said. Then he started talking about fraud right away. So the writing been on the wall for a while. It been on the wall for a long period of time, and Trump is just one of those type of people that don't care. He can talk fast way, talk big and bad to make people believe what he's saying, but in reality, we have to take a look at everything ourselves. We have to look at the facts of the situation. Look at the information he putting out, because whenever he starts saying something is really really bad, he's lying. Then when he started repeating certain words, he's lying. But hey, I've been waiting for um, some of those Trump supporters that was hanging out before the election. I've been waiting for them to come on. Let me know how they feel about what happened in Washington. It been crickets on their side, so I would love to know exactly how they feel. Um, if you just now tuning in, you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. You can live chat with us in the chat room, as you can see. TKI Radio Chaos. I see there are several people on different platforms, um, but you could definitely live chat with us in the chat room and and give your opinion on it. Now we're gonna go back to that question a little bit later about should a prisoner be allowed to choose what type of food he eat. So we'll go to that later on, and we're gonna want y'all to express yourself about that, because I have a whole new different outlook on things. So we shall see. Um, TCal said you just keep breaking up and the show keep chipping in and out. Okay, not sure why. Like I said, we have a new system. Let me know if it get too bad. If I need to shut it off, reset it, I will. But definitely let me know. Trying to make sure I don't have anything extra plugged up. But it appears to be everything is in the right place. So, but definitely let me know if it continue to break up. Um, I had to fire a guy in my band who had a Trump-like personality. Ooh, I had a I didn't unfriend him. A lot of people decided to unfriend me. Um, once I started the show because they big supporters of Trump, and I'm talking about some family members. So I don't lose no sleep off of it. I'm like, hey, I would love to know how they feel right about now. For the simple fact, you're a big supporter of Trump. Let me know how you feel about the attack that was done on America's soil, a domestic terrorist. Let me know how you feel about it because all these Trump supporters we had, they all crickets now. They not saying anything. But um, Trump did say um, also in that speech today that it was he blamed everybody else for what happened last week, but he didn't take no blame for himself for giving that speech before it happened. Which that's not a shocker. Um, he would never take blame for it. Always trust trust your own eyes and ears. Don't let anyone tell you to think. You're exactly right. You have to think for yourself, and you must pay attention. Listen, listen to what a person say because if they lying to you, they won't remember what they told you the first time. You have to go back. That's why I personally pay attention to people. You can tell me something, then 2 minutes later you telling me something completely different, and then you come back and tell me something else completely different. You can't keep up with your line. That's why I just tell people, be honest with me. Tell me exactly how you feel. But that's Trump's situation. He don't pay attention. He just lie, 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 and then he don't remember what he said in that lie because I was always brought up that if you lie, you're gonna have to turn around and tell another lie to cover up the first lie. It's just so much easier to be honest and upfront from the beginning. Um, so Trump talked about the impeachment, talking about it'll be making a big mistake. I sound like he's kind of telling them again to um, stand by and, and wait again, like he said before. Yes, he was in Texas today. He was down near the border. Check. I heard one reporter said checking up on his wall. I don't know if that was a joke or not, but they said he was checking up on his wall. Which I also read an article the other day where they was talking about Biden said he was going to put a halt to the wall. So I don't know. I don't know which one is true, which one is not true. But what I do know, if anybody is still standing behind Trump after what happened last week, it's crazy. Kind of like um, Pence. A story came out a while ago, and I'm trying to find it. Mike Pence actually said he was not gonna uh, pull Trump out of power. He actually said the U.S. House pressed forward Tuesday toward impeaching President Donald Trump for the deadly Capitol attack, um, taking time only to try to persuade his vice president to push him out first. Trump showed no remorse, blaming impeachment itself for the tremendous anger in America. No, it's not. It's you. You are the problem. Um, Vice Vice President Mike Pence
formally announced Tuesday he would not be granting a request by the House to invoke the 25th Amendment uh, to the Constitution to declare the president unable to serve. Um, I do not believe that such a course of action is the best interest of our nation, um, are consistent with the Constitution. Pence wrote in a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi last week, I did not yield to pressure to extort power beyond my constitutional authority to determine the outcome of the election, and I would not now yield to effort in the House of Representatives to play politics games at a time so serious in the life of our nation. Um, so uh, basically, Pence saying, "No, I'm not gonna do it." But once again, I really feel like all of this could have been avoided when they did this in Michigan this past summer. If they would have took the proper action then, this never would have happened because you would have sent the message out. And that's the problem with some of our leaders. They want people to like them, to vote for them instead of doing the right thing. That's why it's so important to get out and vote. Not just the presidential election, but the local election, the state election. You need to vote every election. I don't care what it is. If it voting to decide if you get the coupons on Wednesday, vote on it. I don't care. Let your voice be heard by voting. Um, Radio said Pence is useless. Yes, he is. He just a uh, just somebody who's taking up space. Now, what he might be trying to do, and I thought about this earlier. See, Pence, he been pretty quiet on a lot of stuff. Now, it came out after the terrorist attack. Um, um, After the terrorist attack, it came out that Pence was pretty upset. He was upset about um, what happened with the Capitol, saying that Trump put his life at danger. This came from his camp, saying that he put his life at danger. So they haven't talked since last week before this happened. They finally talked today. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall because I'm sure Pence probably, I don't know, he probably said, "Oh, it's okay, Donna. We know. We trying to stay in office. I understand." That's probably how the conversation went. But if it was me, it would have been a whole different conversation. Um, yeah. Matter of fact, before I ever met with him, I would have already signed them on the dotted line. Get him out. He need to go. Matter of fact, he should have been gone. So, T Cal said my connection at home is so bad right now, but I'm still here by phone. I don't know what's going on with all the internets because occasionally my internet kind of mess up too. So I have no idea what's going on with it. Well, I'm glad you hanging in there. Um, so let's go to that question. Do you think a prisoner get a choice of what food is served to him or to them? I want to know what you think about it because that should have been something in consideration before you did the crime. I'm just kind of curious about it because you saying you only eat organic. So I guess they ordering Amazon or something um, to bring him some organic food. Must be a great gig being an elected politician. They seem to want to hang on to that job at any cost. Yeah, at any cost. Now, I didn't hit on this one, but because of that situation last week too, uh, boy, you having some issue. You might need to reset your phone. T-Cal said my phone, my connection is acting up. Um, yeah, you may want to reset that thing. But uh, when that ride happened last week, as we seen in the videos and the photos, a lot of people did not wear a mask. Now, the thing is with that situation right there, um, unfortunately, some of the people that was some of the Senate and Congress that was in there, they actually have. I think it's been at least three that came out that have actually caught COVID-19 because of it. Now it could have been some other stuff played a part of it, but after that event, they have tested positive, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot more people test positive also. Um, so that's something to pay attention to because people don't realize our numbers continue to go up every day. Not just here in Dallas, um, but they going up everywhere. California's still on lockdown, and it's really jacked up. But I want to know y'all opinion about this organic food in the prison. I'm just kind of curious about it. Y'all can actually call in or text 972-591-3665. 972-591-3665. Let your voice be heard on it. And let me know what you feel about prisoners having certain menus. Um, I know some people may have allergies. Um, what was that? Fulton County, 30 days locked up in Fulton County. It was um, a prison show where they send people in to stay locked up in there for a certain amount of days. And one of the participants had a food allergy. They didn't feed her no special meal. She either had to eat what was there, or she went without. So she had to do what she had to do. I heard Sam Harris, the Strive the Bride, that's an extreme right wing YouTube video comment section came to life. Yeah, it is crazy, and they're still saying some threats are coming. Um, I even read something that um, I want to say um, the military had actually talked with the military and was telling them to treat this as a terrorist attack if you was on foreign land. Basically telling them if they come here acting a fool, we need to defend our country. And this is coming from our military. So it's not going to be good. Hopefully, by this time, they have the ones that are doing it. They'll be locked up. And I know, like, for instance, the guy that is from Dallas, the retired Air Force captain, they're going to send him back to Washington, even though he's in jail here now, but he's going back to Washington to face those charges, just like uh, Jacob Kinsley. He's going back to Washington, and I'm like, okay, uh, that's where the crime was done. That's where you got to go back. And I don't know if y'all seen this. The videos have been hilarious. Um, Once the folks was put on the no-fly list, getting taken off of planes, when they come in to wherever they was going, they was being arrested. And this one young lady, what was her name? Something Black. Man, I forgot her name. It'll come to me in a minute. But she basically got pulled off the plane, and when she got pulled off, she was talking about she didn't have, talking about, oh, I'm getting kicked off the plane because I'm on the no-fly list and I don't have no money to get home. Melanie Black is her name. Think she from Tennessee or somewhere. Um, but says she didn't have no money to get home because she's on the no-fly list. Well, so you mean to tell me you spent your last dollar to go to Washington to act a fool, to do a terrorist act on our country with a leader that say make America great, but he encouraged that type of stuff to happen, and you spent your last dollar for that? Like I've said it before, a lot of people they probably was happy when they got the little $600 stimulus check, because they turned around and used that money to go to Washington, used the last dollar to go to a super spreader, and now they facing charges. Because once you get on the no-fly list with airlines, I don't know too many people that have gotten off of it. So, well, I don't know anybody who been on it. So, T Cal talking about, but the last $2, talking about JT, Johnny Taylor. Um, yeah, so that's that's interesting how people could actually spend their last dollar to go to Washington for somebody who don't care anything about them. And some of the comments that people make is, when I tell you it's funny and sad at the same time, because um, one person said they so nervous right now because they don't know if they're gonna get arrested. Just sitting at home, not knowing if they're gonna be arrested or not for going to that terrorist attack. Well, they didn't say terrorist attack. They said for our freedom of speech. You can have freedom of speech, but they don't give you the right to break into our state capital, our national capital, uh, to try to overturn our government. What up, Marcellus? Man, I was getting kind of nervous about you. Oh, I know why you came on. You seen T Cal talking about the last $2. That's how you came on. Now you don't want the FBI showing up at your door. That won't be good. At your door, your job, you don't want them in your life at all. Um, and a lot of people they don't understand. Um, this is something very serious that eventually they may not get you today, they may not get you tomorrow, but at some point they coming for you. They coming for you. That's kind of like they finally have a picture of the guy. Uh, Marcella said, "I'm not gonna lose him." They finally had a picture of the guy, and I should have had it put up on my stream, but the guy who they said that killed that officer with the fire extinguisher. Um, I don't know if y'all can see this good, but I don't want to try to add it while I'm on. But this is the picture of the guy, and they looking for him. He have on a hat, a blue beanie, look like CFD um, letters on it, and they're kind of, I don't know if they pink or purple letters, and they trying to find out who this guy is. Um, Now, when you pull up CFD, this is him with the fire extinguisher. When you pull up CFD, it come up Chicago Fire Department. But then again, that could be some other organization or just a random hat. But hopefully they catch this guy because there's pictures of him that's coming up behind that officer that was killed with the fire extinguisher getting ready to hit him. So we definitely need to find out who this guy is and put him where he's supposed to be, up under the jail. Um, because that was a coward act to do something like that. And I hope when I typed in CFD, only thing that kept coming up was Chicago Fire Department. I said, I sure hope this guy is not a first responder. I hope he's not, because that would not be good at all. Um, Marcellus started singing. One is for the bus fare, and the other for the jute joint. Um, Marcellus starting Monday. We're gonna start highlighting artists on Mondays. Um, any type of artist that is out there that is listening, regardless if it's music, uh, acting, designing, whatever it may be, whatever your art is. Um, the email is strolling across the top of the string. Definitely send me an email if you want to be a part of it. We have some great artists already lined up. They're gonna be coming on. Now, if you doing music, posit music, something that is not gonna be a disgrace to our community. So if you're talking about shooting up the neighborhood, talking about uh, B's and F's, or well, B's and H's, I'm not gonna highlight that. Want good positive music. If you got something that could go on the radio, holla at me. But if it's talking about robbing and stealing from folks, no, I'm not gonna highlight that. But other than that, something good and positive, regardless of if it's blues, rap, jazz, um, country. It doesn't matter. Just some good positive music, and I have to listen to it beforehand, because we're not finna get the okie doke in the middle of a show and then they start talking about is who, oh, however that song go, that Cardi B or something. So but yeah, that's how we're gonna do start doing on Monday. And no song in A minor, the saddest of all keys. Yep. Um, but I'm all about trying to empower people, um, because I've been talking with certain people um, on Clubhouse, and it's a lot of artists out there trying to get exposure, and I'm like, hey, we could do that. We could get you the exposure that you're looking for, and and I've I've heard some of the songs, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty dope, you know. And then some of them are even doing things in their community from their profit from their songs, they going back in their community and helping the community, mentoring young kids to do positive things in their communities. So that's what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, when you have people doing that, those are the ones sometimes get looked over. But you going back in your community, inspiring your community. Um, this one young man actually, he sent me a video, and he teaching the young mans how to go out, make money the right way. Kind of how it was when I came up. Go out and cut somebody grass. Um, but I think a lot of it, they were just volunteering their time. I started, and I said this before. I can say it now because it don't matter now. But back in the days, Records Barbecue, when it was off of Loot 12 in Sunnyvale, um, I I I claim that was my first job, but I was about 6, 7 years old. And Miss Record, she would pay me to come out there just to sweep the sidewalk off in front of the store, in front of the Records barbecue place. She'll give me a couple of dollars, and I think that triggers something in my mind that, you know what, I can always make money. I can do stuff to have a business. So, and my brother and I, on the weekends, we would go to the car wash that sat behind the McDonald's. I think it's Williams Chicken corporate office if they still there. But it was a car wash behind it. We used to go there and wash cars on the weekend and make money. So it's always, you have to have somebody to teach you early. And it's never too late to learn, but to teach you early the value of being able to work and work hard for what you want. So I appreciate Miss Barbara Record for the things she's done when I was a kid, and she's still doing great things in the community. Record Barbecue is still doing great things in the community. So whenever I get a chance, I try to go by there and support them. If you notice, I don't mention a lot of places that I deal with um, on the show. But people like that, yes, I will support them. For the simple fact, it made a difference in my life. Even as a 6, 7 year old kid, she gave me a couple of dollars just to sweep the sidewalk in front of the store, and I'm like, wow. Back then, 6 or 7, $2 or $3 was great. Then she would give me a chopped beef sandwich, so I was really winning. Uh, so definitely, we have some artists coming up like that is actually doing great things in their community. Not just from Dallas either. We're gonna have some from Dallas. I believe this young man is out of I, I believe it's St. Louis, up in that area. So he will be coming up soon, and it's a young lady. We're trying to get our schedule down. This young lady is, she sent me a video, and I'm like, whoa, that's dope. That's dope for a young lady. Um, so it's gonna be some good stuff coming up, and also um, New Vision Media is coming back on the show. We're trying to get our schedule down on that also. They doing some great things. Um, since the last time they came on the show, um, we've been talking the last couple of weeks, and I've been tied up, but I'm trying to get my schedule free where I can start. Next week, we're gonna start bringing folks on, and it's gonna be some pretty good stuff. Um, so yeah, most definitely. But Marcellus, I don't know if you're working tonight, but the question tonight was, should a prisoner be allowed to choose what type of food he can eat while he's in prison? That goes back to Jake, I believe is his name, the guy from Jacob Chansley, AKA Jake Angelo, the guy that was in Capitol Hill with the makeup on and the fair with no shirt on and the horns on. He been fasting ever since he turned himself into uh, to the feds in Arizona since Saturday, and then they went to court. When they went to court, he decided. His mother said he only organic food, and that's if that's what you eat when you at home. I think it's a great thing. Um, but when you in prison for a crime that you have committed, I guess you'll be eating air sandwich and drinking some water or something. I don't know. Um, he does allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly. I think he's probably one of those that allegedly a mama's boy. That's what I'm gonna say. Allegedly a mama boy, because the way his mama talked about, oh, I was surprised. That was him. I was really shocked. But she wasn't upset. Like she was justifying what he did. And then for her to give the interview talking about he only eat organic, so he's not eating at all while he's in there. And then a judge signed off on it to get him organic. I'm like, ooh, boy, you must have some good connection. Now, take it, Arizona is also the place where they made prisoners sleep in tents. Now, well, I guess that was the local prison, but I don't know about the federal prison, but uh, but the main prison there was making the inmates sleep in tents. But once again, this dude is eating good in prison. Got some organic food, and I'm like, okay. Cal Rittenhouse mom doesn't seem too upset about her son either. Most of them don't, and I'll tell you why. Cal Rittenhouse, I just feel like this in that situation, and somebody sent. I told you about Laura B or whatever it was. They sent me a long message the other day on Instagram. Said they seen the show on Twitch, and they sent me a very long message talking about Cal Rittenhouse. Hell, it might been Cal itself. I don't know. Um, but sent me a long message talking about I was wrong. I'm the devil. I'm going to hell. And I said, well, if I'm going to hell, take some ice water when you get there if I can have it. Because my whole thing is, he never should have been there. So many different conflicted stories came out about that situation. First, it was he was called to come there to protect this business. Why would someone call a child to come and protect this business? Then, when the police passed by giving them water after curfew, giving them water and thanking them for being there, something don't seem right. Then all of these people that raised this cash bond of, what was it, 2 million, a million or 2 million or something. They raised this cash bond to get him out of jail until the trial start. Tell me where's the lie at, because I don't see the lie. If and not only that, the friend that bought the uh, assault rifle for him, he got arrested. He been charged, but they told me I was lying. He borrowed it from a friend. No, Kyle said himself when he got the stimulus check, he used that money to go buy that assault rifle, but a friend got it for him. That's what the police report said. I don't know. Tell me where the lie is, because um, that's, first of all, if he borrowed it or if he bought it, you still gave a child an assault rifle, which is not good. Um, Cal gave another interview to the media saying he would do the same thing again. Surprised his lawyer aren't telling him to keep his mouth shut. Let him keep talking. Let him keep talking. Because what's going to happen, everything he say, they're going to hold it against him. It's going to come back and bite him. All those folks that gave that money, they could kiss that money goodbye. Because I could tell you this time next week who won't be able to pardon him. Hey, he won't be in office. And I don't see nobody else pardon him after killing a person, two people, and also injuring another one. Now, the person said, oh, he was being attacked. If the child would have been home, there's no way he could have been attacked. If he was gone on by his business after curfew, instead of trying to be Billy Badass, it never would have happened. But because you choose to go there and call yourself the security, and you go out there to and shoot three people and kill two, well, guess what? Your actions, you got to be held accountable for them. You have to. There's no other way of putting it. And even by you identifying yourself as a doing security for that business. Now, I don't know about anywhere else, but I know most security firms have to be bonded, and you have to be a certain age before you could do it. And you won't be able to carry at 17. I'm just saying. His friends that bought the rifle for him is facing 12 years in jail. See, that friend need to be singing like a mockingbird. I'm not going to jail for nobody. That's kind of like you go to a convenience store and you see somebody out there talking about, hey man, can you buy some cigarettes for me? I'm too pretty to go to jail. I'm not going to buy no cigarette for you or nobody else. That I will not do. But once again, some people be like, oh, how much you gonna give me? $10? Okay, I'll go in there and buy them for you. Nah, my freedom is worth more than that, so I'm not gonna do it. I told people a long time ago, look, if we hanging out, you doing something wrong, stay away from me, cause I'm not finna take no fall for nobody. I don't care who it is. Um, Big Bubba never be waiting for me to get to jail. Speaking of Big Bubba, on one of those videos I seen last night of someone being arrested, there was this guy on there talking about and it was a Hispanic guy, I believe, um, that was talking to the guy that was being arrested as they were walking him out, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, Big Bubba gonna be waiting for you." I just broke out and started laughing. I said, "Boy, he must listen to the show." Um, yeah, he should definitely face that 12 years. His friend said he knew that he took the rifle without asking, but said Cal would throw a fit if he tried to shoot him. If who tried? If the guy tried to shoot Cal. So did he buy the rifle? Cause I heard he bought the rifle for him with the stimulus money he got. But either way, you providing a firearm for a child, that that's wrong within itself. You just allowing a child to make decision up under your watch because you're of age, and you letting them make an adult decision. And then for the police to allow him to just go home, just passed right by him. They waved at him, kept going. I'm just saying. And he had the gun on him. They didn't even stop him when he passed by after shooting these folks. And people saying, "Hey, he just shot somebody." They kept the rifle at his friend's stepdad house in Kentucky without asking. Okay, but that rifle was in your name. You paid for it. You was the one that purchased it. That's your fault. That's your fault. That's why people be like, somebody asked me years ago if I could get a firearm in their name. Nah, I can't do that one. I don't. I love you, but I can't do that one. My name not going on no firearm. Not for you, or anyone else, because must realize you mess around and they go out and kill somebody and they trace their gun back to you. You the one in jail. It's your word against theirs. No, I won't do that. Um, I think. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but yeah, you shouldn't do it. It's irresponsible to do it. Um, but me personally, I would not buy if it's not for my wife. Nah, and even then, it'll be in my name. Um, so if get a firearm for somebody, nope, won't do it. It seemed kind of stupid for a business owner to ask random people with firearms to protect their business. They could be open to charges too. Exactly, because that was one of the first story came that Cal said he was called to come and protect that business. Who gonna call a child to come and protect the business? Now, that's I have issues with all of that because that's why I say it's too many holes in these stories, and at some point the truth is gonna have to come out. It may never come out exactly what happened, but we know what we know. We know that uh, um, we know that um, that he shot two people, three people, and killed two. So at this point, we know that as a fact. We know that if he was at home like a child should have been during that time, it wouldn't have happened. We know that if he didn't have that weapon, or if his friend didn't buy that weapon for him or gave him access to it, it wouldn't have happened. So your actions, there's always a consequence behind it. And the thing is, you're bad enough to do what you did. Now you got to man up. You got to man up and take your punishment. That's all to it. Unfortunately, that's 4 lives that have changed, 2 that would never come back. Um, and the family, the way it's going to affect each family, including Kyle Rittenhouse and his friend too. It's going to affect all of them. But at the same time, you got to realize you do the crime, you do the time, bottom line. And that's all to it. Which is, I, I've have tried, well, I've never really done anything because I've never been in trouble with the law. Um, so for me, I was like, mm-mm. Well, my mama told us, if you go to jail, I'm going to leave you down there. That was enough for me. I said, nope. His mom said she didn't think it would be wrong for kids under 18 to carry a firearm. See, that's that uneducated thinking. Because, and see, that's the problem with what you said on that radio. This is the problem. A lot of people start, and there's nothing wrong with it. They start teaching their kids about guns early. But if you're teaching them properly, you also need to teach them the do's and don't. And even then, you need to make sure your child have the right frame of mind. Just because somebody upsets you, do not give you the right to go and pull a gun on them or anything like that. Because once again, it all about training. He probably been having a gun since he was 5 years old. Who knows? But going out there killing 2 people, injuring 1, it's not good. It's not good. And that's something he's going to be held accountable for. Um, so we definitely need to continue to pay attention to that case, because if we don't, before we know it, the case will be dismissed. And that person be right out on the street like like it wasn't nothing. So his mother thinking, and that's why I say it's a lot of holes in these stories, because if his mother thinking it's nothing wrong for an 18-year-old to carry a gun, that's saying that she knew he had a gun, but she didn't think it was a problem. I'm just saying, um, something ain't right. But um, that's going to be an interesting case to take a look at. And just like all of these charges with the domestic terrorists that happened last week, that's going to be interesting, because I feel that um, if that judge decided to allow them to feed him organic food. I just pray and hope she's not over his decision on over his case when they go to trial. She knew he bought the gun. They were going to transfer ownership under her name. Oh, why she didn't buy it in the first place? See, that's a question I would ask. If you knew he went out and bought it, why you didn't buy it? That's that's a huge question right there to know. Why you didn't buy the gun for your own son? It's a reason why. Maybe I don't know. Um, Allegedly, maybe somebody in the household not supposed to be around guns. I have no idea. Or maybe she couldn't do it. Who knows? But that's something to really think about. Um, that's a messed up case, and the person that sent that email to me, of course they have a fake account. Uh, they'll come on, send a message, then they'll turn around and close the account up. And I've noticed they did the same thing on Twitter with several people. They'll put a statement, then you go look for the account. Uh, the account don't exist, so they did that on Instagram for me, and then also with I seen where other people did it. They did it with other people on Twitter, so they have a lot of time on their hand. And I understand we're in a pandemic and probably at home, working from home, and have nothing better to do than a troll. Yeah, this is an interesting case. It's several of them that is very interesting. We still need to get charges for the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Those cops still need to be charges brought up against them. Oh, and speaking of charges, they're talking about charging the ex, was it the mayor or the governor of Michigan over Flint water crisis. An alert came out earlier. They're talking about charging them, filing charges against that person. So that's going to be interesting also. And when my phone just went off, they said Mitch McConnell is supporting removing Trump out of office secretly, and probably because he end up getting his house spray painted, so he don't want to make it public known that he's supporting it. But at this point, all of them should be supporting it. But we're not gonna say nothing about your homeboy Chaos, because I know with him, he's probably no, we shouldn't do that. So this whole situation is gonna be kind of crazy. The release They released the body cam footage of the Ahmaud Arbery shooting. The cop never even searched or handcuffed those guys. Exactly, they didn't care. They took they were right off the bat. Uh, the female cop, she was like, "Oh, what's that guy name?" And once he said, "Oh yeah, he just retired not too long ago," so then it became, "Oh, he's a brother in blue. It's okay. They good." But once again, when it come down to the difference between black and whites, dealing with law enforcement is completely different. Everything is not the same. It's a difference in it, and some people fail to realize that. And matter of fact, the person that wrote that long statement the other day talking about Uh, you just passing hate and lies about racist stuff in America and all of this. Where have you been? Because apparently you're not paying attention to what's going on around us. If you are paying attention to all the unarmed black folks that been killed, let's just say last year. Now, if we go back 5 years or 10 years, it's crazy. The third guy that took the video is also facing. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was facing a sexual assault charge. Um, I knew they was trying to bring him up on charges for because they felt like he was part of it. Um, but I didn't know he was facing sexual assault charge. Uh, um, yeah, that's new on me. I'm trying to see, cause I haven't heard that one, and trying to think if I could pull up his name, cause if he's facing sexual assault charges, hey, throw him in there with R. Kelly. Um, maybe they can. Well, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm trying to. Uh, okay, I wasn't trying to play the video, but it started playing in my ear. Um, that's kind of like the new video came out about uh, Andre Hill, the shooting that happened up in Columbus, and um, they a new video came out, and the body cam from the other officer body cam when that officer said he have a gun in his hand and shot him, then turn around, that officer said no he don't, and he shot him. And then they did not provide any uh, help for the guy, just cuffed him. They cuffed him, then turned around and just left him there. They did not try to do CPR, provide any medical assistance until a supervisor showed up. That's why that guy was fired immediately, and he should have been, and he shouldn't be a cop. So it's but people got to start realizing there's a big difference when it come down to black interaction with the police and white interaction with the police. Yeah, it may sound like we talking about um, it's a problem with black folks, and then first thing people say, well, if they just would have cooperated, it wouldn't have been an issue. Yeah, we've seen that happen. We've seen where people have their hands up in the air and still get shot. Kind of like this guy with the phone. And then also in the second body cam, you can hear a woman saying, "What's going on? He just came over here to give me some money for Christmas." So, once again, another black man lost his life. Lost his life for nothing. Um, so that's um that's crazy. There was a white pastor who made a viral video of him jogging through his neighborhood with a TV and showing how nobody called the cops or tried to stop him. Yeah, it was I guess a couple of years back. there was a couple of videos where um, when we was having the incident, especially here in Texas, with people open carry um, long rifles or whatever it was. Um, a white guy got with one of his friends who was a black guy. So the white guy walked through the neighborhood with a gun. Nobody said anything. Police passed by, wave at him, keep going. But then as soon as the police seen a black guy with the gun, they called out the whole force. And if it wasn't from the fact that when they got out the car, they like, hey, we're doing a test. This is being videotaped. And they like, oh, you could have got shot. But it's an open state, um, open to carry state. And they telling this black guy he could have got shot. But once a white guy did it first, nothing was said. Nobody stopped and said anything. That's kind of like even today, um, with us having to wear a mask um, whenever we go places. You walk in, and sometimes people stare at you kind of crazy because I'm not gonna lie. When I leave the gym in the morning, I'll do all my running around. If I have to go to the store or something, I do it right then. So I may have shorts on, have a pullover on, and the hat I wear is a um, have like a cover for your face and your mouth. Um, it's not a ski mask, but it's similar. Only part you can see is basically my eyes, and I could go in places and people stop and turn around and look at me like this, and I'm like, I look them back like, what? Hell, I'm coming in here doing the same thing you doing, shopping. Don't stare at me like that. So I just go on by my business, do what I have to do, and I get up out of there. But I go to a lot of the same places, so a lot of people do know me. But when they see a big black guy coming in with only thing you can see is his eyes, and that's it. I'm sure at some point somebody probably have called the police or thought about calling the police just because of the way I look. But at the same time, they don't realize I'm leaving the gym. My shirt I have on up under me, sweaty. So even during the summertime when I was doing it, it could be 70, 80 degrees outside. I still have my pullover on because I know if I'm stopping somewhere, I don't want sweat rolling down, dripping all on the floor. So I put my pullover on. But people don't instead of talking, they would automatically assume the worst of a person. Now I'm not gonna say just because you see a person with a gun, uh, don't pay attention. But if the person is black, that don't mean they finna come in there and shoot up the place or rob the place. They coming in there and spend money just like you, just like anybody else. So hey, I'm like, hey, just treat everybody the same way you want to be treated. That's how you do that. If you do that, everything else will fall into place. It won't be no issues. It won't be no confusion. And I'm like, hey, just treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And other than that, we'll have a great time. Um, ooh, I drunk up all my water. Um, but yeah, so it's we can't open carry guns here in Canada. I'm glad to know that for if I ever come, I know what to do and what not to do. I would have to get a lesson from you if we ever come up there to visit. Be like, hey, what can I do and what I can't do? I know Canada personally has a strict law about a lot of things because I never been to Canada, but I used to hear some of the horror stories of Canada trying to cross the border. Getting into Canada back then, it was very easy to get in, but getting out, that's a whole nother situation because I used to hear drivers say all the time that uh, they went up to Canada, they may have a ticket here or been convicted of a crime here, whatever the situation may be. Matter of fact, someone who I know, one of their friends was paying child support in the U.S. and they got held at the border for like a week because they wanted to make sure he wasn't behind on it. And they would not let him cross back into the U.S. until they found out. Wanted to make sure he was on the up and up. So Canada has some strict laws. What you should. You can own a gun, but you can only use them in shooting range or hunting. Okay. And defending your home, I hope. Uh, do they have like the law like they have here in the U.S.? If somebody break in your home, you have every rights to defend it, or how that work? I would assume you could use it for that, but I don't know. Different places, different laws. I know back growing up, um, we would always hear people say, if someone break in your house, you wait until they cross the threshold. Uh, and once they cross the threshold, you have every right to defend your home. But if they fall outside, you might want to drag them in. That's what they used to say. Uh, oh, so how that work? How do that work? Cause if, ooh, yeah, that's kind of, so y'all just have guns just to catch dinner and to practice catching dinner. Uh, that's kind of strange. Do they allow y'all to have assault rifles like AR-15s or anything like that, or you can only have a handgun or a pistol? Or I'm just kind of curious because I know different country have different laws, and you have to know the rules of these different country if you're looking at visiting, because um, it could uh, it could help you. It can help you. Uh, um, if you pull a firearm defending yourself here, oh wow, that's not good. Uh, if you pull a firearm defending yourself here, you will get charged. Did y'all have LTC or um, they just banned assault rifle this year? Wow. Do y'all have LTC or do y'all have license to carry, or do they allow y'all to do that at all? Cause man, that's that's pretty messed up on that one. Um, if they don't allow you to be able to defend your own home, that's, man. Yeah, that wouldn't work for a lot of people, cause that would yeah, that's kind of jacked up on that. If you can't defend your own home, woof, or defend yourself, you just gotta know how to box good, which I think that'll keep your crime rates down because if you can't, if, back in the old days, we used to say if you can't throw those beans, you can't, you don't need to be out there doing nothing about it. So sometimes you take a L, sometimes you don't. So are y'all allowed to carry like pocket knives at least for protection, or you have to have a gun license to own? Oh, just to own a gun, you have to have a gun license. but you can't carry one around with you. Oh, that, so it's fair game. Uh, it's fair game at that because then you'll be able to if you get into a fight, you have a good chance of making it home. Because if they can't have a gun, not unless they carry it illegal, um, you got a good chance of getting out of that situation. But I'm I'm one of those. I try to stay away from putting myself in those type of situations. Um, it's just not a good thing for me. I never been. It take a lot to upset me. So very few shooting here in Polk County in Florida has more shooting than damn than all of Vancouver. Yeah, um, I want to say Polk County. Is that where the guy killed the two or three friends on a fishing trip or something? And the guy had how many felonies did he have? Was it almost 200 felonies? And the guy was, I think he was under 30 years old and had over 200 felonies. And then now they have him on murder charges. So I'm like, boy, that's crazy. I don't know if that was Polk County in Florida or what was the other county, but we talked about it one night. Um, that was crazy how that guy had that many felonies at that young age. I want to say the guy was maybe between 24 to 28 years old. I don't think he was 28. I think he was closer to 24 or something. But it was a young guy. 230 felonies charges, 15 felon conviction. That was Polk County. Exactly. I thought it was. Um, and you remember how old the guy was? Let me see if I can pull that up. Um, Because um, uh, just kind of curious how old this guy was because he was fairly young. T.J. Wiggins. Let me see. All of Canada has around 250 shooting a year for the whole country. Wow. Shoot. I don't know for sure, but I think Dallas had um, almost that amount in murdered last year. And from my understanding, they're on a pretty good record now. Okay, this guy, he's 26. 26 and have 230 prior felony charges, two other arrests on charges related to killing of three friends prior to a fishing trip in Polk County, Florida. His arrest history started back at the age of 12. Uh, is charged with first degree murder, tampering with evidence, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. So that's and you talking about Canada all alone have about 250 shooting a year, and this guy had 230 felonies. That's a lot. That guy girlfriend bought him ammunition just before the shooting. She had a clean record. Now she got a murder charge on her. That's what it should be. And she was 27. Well, she is 27. But trying to see what they charged her with. Mary Whitmore and Tony brother William Robert Wiggins. 21 were all arrested this week on charge related to the death of 23-year-old Damon Tillman, 30-year-old Kevin Springfield, and 27-year-old Brandon Rollins. So they all in jail. I don't know. I guess that's why I don't have a lot of friends. I have a group of friends that I consider as friends. Everybody else is associate. You can't call everybody your friends. Um, my crew, that's my friends because I know we're gonna have each other back, but we also gonna lead each other the right way and correct each other when we do something wrong. So yeah, 230 felons since age of 12. And see, that's what I'm talking about. How I talked about earlier, one of the artists we're gonna have come on to the show. Nips is his name. Gonna come on to the show, and he's going back to the community, leading young boys to do the right thing, to go out, cut people grass, volunteer for these type of things. And that's the type of stuff we want to expose and be able to let them be recognized. Because just imagine he mess around and come out with a good hit, and just imagine what he could do for that community with what he already doing, and probably coming out of his pocket to do the things with the young boys to to show them a better way of life other than the streets. So that's going to be coming up soon. We have several artists we're dealing with that's going to be coming on to the show. You can listen to their music and be able to support them. Go out, support them, and do that. But you have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt Dog. Um, Tonight is Tuesday night. Wednesday night, I think we're gonna kind of keep it like we've been having it. Ask Kurt Dog anything. We will talk about a couple of headlines, not that many, but you can ask me anything. And I think tomorrow also, I might blow some dust off my old music and reminisce about old music. Hopefully Marcella's is off tomorrow or be able to be a part of it since he brought it up before about music and had me going down memory lane and I end up staying late that night listening to old stuff. So we'll do that tomorrow and have a good time. Radio, as always, I appreciate you, your support. Um, Continue to support the show. Um, we're still working on some new things. I'm still trying to learn this system, so uh, hopefully I have everything done by tomorrow. And no, I gotta have it right before Thursday, cause our Garrett will be on the show for the first time this year. Miss Risky will be in the house come Thursday night, so that's I gotta work hard tomorrow. Make sure I get everything set up like it should be. So other than that, until tomorrow night, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I love each and every one of you, and it's not a damn thing you can do about it. Until tomorrow night, we'll see you then.